Top of the SportsMax Zone 4 this Wednesday, Liverpool hosted Villarreal in their first leg UEFA Champions League semi-final at Anfield earlier on Wednesday. Let's take a look at those highlights now.
Salah. And more of this to come. Good chip in. Wide from Mane. Luis Diaz has one. Luis Diaz has eyes for goal. Rulli spilled it. Salah. Mane returns it. Salah goes for the curl. For he has his number. Or will have his number soon. Chance here, maybe. Alisson can watch it go over. That was out of nothing. Thiago, head up, looking for the best option. And that was it. What a cracker. Little shimmy from Thiago. And a nice ball clipped in. It actually caught Diaz and Mane a little bit by surprise. Salah. Henderson across the face. Rulli was struggling. Rulli's been beaten. And it's the captain of Liverpool, Jordan Henderson.
A much different contest here. And perhaps in Spain too. But they've come out the traps quickly, sharply, Liverpool in the second half. And they get a little bit of good fortune. Ball coming off Estupiñán.
Salah pokes it through, and it's poked past Rulli and in by Sadio Mane.
That solidity as a defending team. Even so, what a lovely assist this was from Mo Salah. Timing of the run was perfect. He's just on his knee. Looked as though the left flank of Raul Albiol. Van Dijk, he has thought about it, and Rulli got two hands behind it, and not much else. Well, you have to think that swerved quite a bit.
Diaz, they're not done yet. Diaz, deflected behind for a corner. Into the thick of it. And Liverpool have done enough by poking it away. And Liverpool, with 2 goals in the space of around about 2 minutes, have done enough to win the first leg tonight.
Yeah, so Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson, who thought he scored the game's opening goal before it was ruled an own goal, admits the Villarreal team was difficult to break down.
Yeah, a very organised team. We knew they'd make it difficult, but it was important that we just kept going, stayed positive, and we had the confidence that if we'd done that, kept moving the ball quick, we'd eventually break them down, and we did that with 2 good goals.
2 good goals. The first one, you got a big deflection. Doesn't matter though, does it?
Not went straight in. Sure not. No, yeah, a little bit lucky. It was good play, good build-up. A little bit lucky off the keeper, I think, and then hit the post. So, but you need a little bit of luck when the team's a low block, and we got that with the first, and then I thought that lifted the crowd, and thankfully we got another one.
Yeah, so the Anfield Reds in charge, former Trinidad and Tobago international and 2006 World Cup defender Brent Sancho, discussing the encounter now with us. Brent, welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. It took Liverpool 50 minutes plus to take charge of the game, but they did in the end. Anything standing out for you today in the first leg?
No, I thought it was a dominant and comprehensive victory for Liverpool, of course. Against a very well-organised side, as Captain Henderson just mentioned, and it was difficult at times for them. I was really impressed with how organised Villarreal was, and of course, how difficult they made it. They really didn't give much lines in between the various departments that they deployed. And so for me, it's a good victory for Liverpool. 2-0 does not suggest by any stretch of the imagination that this tie is over. But you would think that the way that Liverpool went about their business today, that they should be well set for the second tie that comes around.
Yeah, and so many football fans globally, Brent, were projecting the 2 English teams to get to the final, Man City and Liverpool, and as things now stand, it is heading in that direction, even though there's still the second leg to play on both ends.
Yeah, it's certainly headed in that direction. Of course, we've seen some crazy things over the course of this Champions League, and you have to respect the fact that any kind of result can play off, especially the Real Madrid-Man City tie. And not to suggest that, of course, Villarreal is out of this one, because in the second leg, they're going to have to go for it. They're going to have to throw numbers forward. Of course, that may play into Liverpool's hands. But there's still a lot to play for. As much as we do believe that Manchester City and Liverpool are the two better teams and probably well equipped to go on to the finals, I would say that those both ties in the Champions League semi-finals are not over yet.
Yeah, Brent, and the second leg, of course, in Villarreal. Would you suggest that Villarreal do anything different for that second leg?
You know, Mariah, they're not the type of team to really break the mold in terms of what they do. They're not going to go crazy and throw numbers forward. If you looked at the tie against Bayern Munich, they were still very rigid. They still kept their shape. And you know, they have a method and a way that they want to play. Does that mean they can't claw back a 2-0 deficit? Certainly not. It means that they're going to go about the business the way they used to and used to play. They have to be a bit more expansive. They're going to have to throw numbers forward. They're going to have to, of course, try to put the game to Liverpool, which they're capable of doing. So I don't think necessarily as it relates to the way they played today, is it going to be 100 times different? No, I think it'll be slightly different. However, they would feel at 2-0 that an early goal, maybe in the first half, would give them every opportunity to get back into the tie.
Yeah, based on what we saw from Liverpool today and based on what happened on the show yesterday with George Davis, he actually was saying that he felt as if Liverpool should win the quadruple. You know, he had a lot of good things to say about them. Based on what you saw today, do you think that they're on the path, the right path for the quadruple?
I don't have the confidence of George to go that far to say that they will, because, you know, I think with City and Real Madrid, there's still a lot of football to be played there. I do think that it is a disappointing result for City. When you are to look at the amount of chances they created in the first tie, you may feel that may come back and hurt them. But in terms of Liverpool, you're correct. It's been very, very professional, very straightforward, very streamlined in their approach. There's no real chink in their armor. You know, in a game like the one we saw today, there may be one or two opportunities from a counter-attacking position, and Liverpool snuffed out any chance that Villarreal had at a counter-attack. So, you know, when you look at it and you contextualize everything, you know, Liverpool have been extremely dominant in the Champions League and extremely dominant today.
Yeah, the Firmino problem that Villarreal have, Brent, he single-handedly ensured that Danjuma didn't get into the game. Does Villarreal have the personnel or the versatility in approach with the person that they have to nullify Fabinho and allow their attack to function? Because if you go across the games against Bayern and Juventus, today they looked like a team, in parts, like a team who really got lucky to get to the semi-final level.
You know, we talked a little bit just now about the tactical approach. I think what Villarreal may do, George, they may look to play Danjuma a little bit wider. Of course, trying to take up the space that both wing-backs may leave for Liverpool. And I think that might be one of the tactical shifts that you would see, which of course would mean that he will not be occupied by Fabinho. That might be the only shift. In terms of what they have, I don't think there's much coming off the bench that would give them any sort of hope to suggest that they could look like a real strong team offensively. However, Villarreal is really about the sum of the parts, aren't they? And if they are to get things collectively correct, Lo Celso, Parejo, etc., getting on the front foot, and of course allowing Danjuma on the wing to do some of his work, maybe they might get into the tie. But again, I thought Liverpool was resolute and good in their approach.
Yeah, Moreno is a key absentee for them, because with him in the team, then Danjuma's position could have been shifted around. With him out, Danjuma had to stay in that central position that he was, and of course he wasn't getting his service. So we expect Moreno to be fit for that second leg. That could prove to be a difference, because admittedly Parejo didn't have the best of games today. He was pulled before the game got too old, so they weren't at the races. I want to pick your brain on something, Brent. For the second goal that Liverpool scored, where Mane ran through onto Salah's through pass, And you'll see here, as Mane makes the run, the defender, Estupiñán, goes to engage. And for some reason, Brent, I think it will be more pronounced in the slow motion. I think if Estupiñán had allowed him to run free, he would have been offside. But the delay that he delayed Mane as he made his run through, that's what helped Mane to get there later than the trap was set. Right there, Brent. I thought if he allowed him to run through free, he would have been offside.
Yeah, he would have been offside. And again, I would look at the position of the two stoppers. If one of them could have engaged and blocked the space in behind where Mane is running into, maybe it may have been a different situation. But you're correct. If he'd allowed him to run through, I think he was thinking to stop him from going through, period. And he thought that if he body checked him, it may have stopped his run. It's such a clever pass from Salah as well. It's the outside of the left foot, something that I don't think anybody really was expecting. He may have thought he would have turned and tried to curl the ball, or of course, throw an opportunity for himself. But it was a very, very nicely weighted pass through to Mane. I think even Mane was a bit surprised that he had so much space.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think if he had allowed him to go through, or if he is to check him, at least put a proper body on him so he doesn't go through.
Yeah.
You know, and I think those are the two mistakes that culminated to the goal.
Yeah, and one of the difficulties again, Brent, there was a shot we saw there in the slow motion from a wide angle where it showed the difficulty for defenders, because the Villarreal defense was in the right line. You'd want them to be in a straight line. They were effectively in a straight line. But the problem was that the three defenders were facing towards Liverpool's goal, and Mane was running in the opposite direction. So whatever happens, it's going to be difficult for them to adjust to his run. We're going to see that here illustrated on the slow motion replay. And that's just a difficulty for defenders, because look at where Mane is coming from. He is going towards the Villarreal goal. The Villarreal defenders are all facing away from their goal. So when the through pass comes, if you let it run, excellent work. Right here, look, the defenders are going in one direction. He's the only one going in the true direction, which is the direction the ball is being played. And I say that to say, Brent, sometimes we criticize defenses, but really and truly, in this position, if the defenders are caught here, it's difficult for them to really do anything except foul.
Yeah, they would have to make a foul, and you know, I'll even go as far as to suggest that maybe the left back could have been tucked in and probably a little bit quicker. But that's just me really being very, very picky. Their line was good. Maybe someone could have engaged Salah a bit quicker. But again, it was a top-level pass. I mean, it's the outside of the left foot, but not only that, the weight of the pass that was put into the pathway of Mane. It's just top class. There's not many people in world football could do that.
Yeah, there's another thing, Brent, about Trent Alexander-Arnold that I've noticed in most Liverpool games. The position that he picks up and then he whips that ball in. We saw him play a ball across to Robertson, who had just straight offside, and the goal was called off. But I often wonder why players don't pick him up. If we go back to the Jordan Henderson goal, Mr. Producer, you will see, even though he wasn't involved in the goal, that Trent again ran into that spot. Not too far forward for the defenders to pick him up, to be interested in picking him up, but not too far back either. Look at this play, Brent. So this is Henderson in possession. Look over, stop it right there. That's where Alexander-Arnold is. He's the man right beside the referee. In front of him to his right are Salah, who has just played Jordan Henderson through for the cross that will lead to the first goal. Brent, Alexander-Arnold always drifts into that spot. But if you look, even from this shot that we have here, frozen, Brent, none of the Villarreal players are interested in him. And that's why Liverpool are so dangerous, because sometimes the ball gets cut back to him one time, and he has enough time to look to his left and whip that ball across. And I don't know why more defenses don't pick him up in that position, because he's caused so much danger for Liverpool from that position.
I think one of the things that Villarreal wanted to do was to get as many yellow shirts in the box as possible, because they're aware that Liverpool does throw a lot of numbers in the box. But you're right. The number one thing with defending, and the most difficult thing with defending crosses, is when when you're defending facing your own goal. And 9 times out of 10, when Trent Alexander crosses the ball, you're really running back, facing your goal, and trying to head the ball back out the other way, which is extremely difficult to do. It's an extremely difficult ball to deal with. And that's what makes him so dangerous. And that's what makes his crosses so dangerous. And the reason why players are not close enough to him because he knows exactly where to go to get that kind of cross in the box. And it would mean, in some occasions, having a forward or offensive player coming back to pick him up, which sometimes doesn't happen. But you're right to point that out, that position that he picks up and the type of ball that he serves into the box is probably one of Liverpool's most dangerous assets that they have.
Yeah, and you scratch your head, Brent, when you consider that every time an England squad is announced, you wonder if Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to be in it.
I tell you, that's a very, very scary thing. And look, I try not to, of course, criticize coaches and their selections, etc. But I just can't see how he's not in the squad, especially the way England plays, especially when you have someone like a Harry Kane at the end of some of those crosses. It beats me why if Kane's the first person on the team sheet, I'm sure Trent Alexander, for me, would be the second.
All right, Brent, stay with us. We still have a lot more football to talk, specifically in Europe. Interesting discussion ahead. So Liverpool 2-0 up on Villarreal. Villarreal, a very small city in Spain, a David Goliath clash, they call this one. The entire Villarreal population could fit into the Anfield Stadium, so I'm not sure how intimidating it is for Liverpool to go to Villarreal for the return game. We have more to come on the SportsMax Zone. Back in a moment.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.